turn down the heat a little bit on this one. Wednesday night, I was having a cigar with a few buddies, and one of the guys I was having a cigar with, his dad and his brother and him, they run a pretty successful company in Canyon County, and they're doing very well for themselves and growing and all the things. So I was asking him, I said, how did your dad get into this? Because it's a pretty unique niche. And he said, well, he moved here when he was 19 from Romania. His whole family, they're immigrants. They moved here when his dad moved here when he was 19 with just 2 suitcases, didn't know a lick of English. And they were told, he was telling me, because his dad and mom have told him this story several times, he was told early on, if you want to make it in America, you have to learn English, you have to know English, you have to master English. I believe his mom moved here when he was 17 and had a similar story and went on to homeschool all of her kids and became very proficient in English, and very successful family that I know. All of that to say that getting to this resolution, this just says that language matters. HJR 6 essentially does one thing. It seeks to amend the Constitution to say that the English language shall be the official language for the state of Idaho, except as required by federal law. English shall be used in all public proceedings, public documents, public instruction, and any other public acts of any public institution in the state of Idaho. This seeks to put a question on the ballot next November to let the people decide if we want to add that to the Constitution. And I think when we're talking about the English language specifically, it tells us who we are as a nation. It binds us together. It ties us to our history, our heroes, our culture. And if you come to America the correct way right now, or if you're here and you want to become a naturalized citizen, it is required that you are proficient and literate in speaking and writing English. So this bill essentially just puts a stake in the ground. It takes what's already in Idaho code. A lot of people don't know this is already in Idaho code. It's not really being followed, and it puts it into the Constitution. I'm just going to end here briefly by reading something our great President Donald Trump put out on March 1st, about 3 weeks ago. So March 1st, 2025, President Trump put out an executive order mandating that English would be the official language of America, which shouldn't be controversial, right? Is it controversial that France has French as their official language, Japan, Japanese, Saudi Arabia, it's Arabic. So it's a long time coming for me, but if you're asking, well, why would we do this in Idaho? I'm going to read briefly from Trump's executive order. It says, to promote unity, cultivate a shared American culture for all citizens, ensure consistency in government operations, and create a pathway to civic engagement. It is in America's best interest for the federal government to designate one and only one official language. Establishing English, as the official language will not only streamline communication, but also reinforce shared national values and create a more cohesive and efficient society. I think it's a good idea for America. I think it's a good idea for Idaho. And this bill just says let's let the voters decide if they think it's a good idea as well. And with that, I'll stand for any questions.
Senator Shippey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Shippey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Senator Lenney. So as I'm reading the language, it says English shall be used, but it doesn't exclude other languages from being used. It's just that you can't use another language without using the English language. So I can imagine maybe there's, health and welfare. They've got documents printed up and they've got them in English, but they've also maybe got on the flip side in Spanish or something. That would not exclude that in my understanding of the language here. Am I correct?
Senator Lenney.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Senator Shippey, you are correct.
Other questions, Senator Adams?
Mr. Chairman, Senator Lenney, good to see you. On the fiscal note, it estimates up to $300,000 for this to be published, but since we already passed House Joint Resolution for this year, did that change the fiscal impact of this?
Senator Lenney.
Senator Guthrie, Senator Adams, I don't believe so. Oh, it does? Representative Hawkins, do you want to come speak to this? Would that be okay? Would that be all right, Mr. Chairman?
Sure, certainly. Representative, just introduce yourself for the record.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Committee. Dale Hawkins, Representative, Legislative District 2. The up to $300,000, if it was a single item on, for the Secretary of State to send out notice of a constitutional amendment, for every one we add between now and 2026 would reduce those, they would be divided.
Thank you.
Other questions? Don't have anyone signed up. Is there someone that wants to speak to this? Any parting thoughts, Senator?
Just that, Mr. Chairman, just that you guys would pass it, that's all. So thank you.
Committee? Senator Taves?
Mr. Chairman, I move we send House Joint Resolution 6 to the floor with a due pass recommendation.
Second.
Motion by Senator Taves, second by Senator Adams, that HJR 6 be sent to the floor with the due pass recommendation. Discussion? Don't see any of those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Have a good weekend. We're adjourned.